Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Olajide Bello and my interpreter is John Bamidele. First, the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari expresses satisfaction over steady repositioning plan for the Nigerian police. Sultan of Sokoto raised concerns over abuses of transhuman treaty and movement of arms in West Africa that aggravates farmers-herders conflicts. IVEC chairman meets party leaders, says election will not hold in 240 polling units. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed the conviction that his administration has significantly attained its repositioning plan for the Nigeria police and expressed the hope that subsequent national leadership of the country will sustain the initiative. This, he emphasized, is critical towards deepening the democratic credentials as well as advancing the cause of rule of law. The president was speaking at the official launch of critical operational assets procured by the Nigeria Police Force. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Thank you. The newly procured operational assets inaugurated by the president include armored personnel and troops carriers, water cannons, patrol vehicles, crowd control, rapid deployment barriers, GPMG and AK-47 upgraded rifles, drones, and explosive ordnance disposal equipment. The procurement of the assets, some of whose utilization is demonstrated here, is in furtherance of the broad plans by the Nigeria Police towards guaranteeing a stable internal security order as well as peaceful, secure, and credible 2023 elections.
The overriding goal is to modernize, reform, and restore the dwindling primacy of our police within the internal security architecture of the country. And I am delighted that the force leadership is advancing my vision to bequeath to the nation a democratic culture in which the police will not only be apolitical and impartial during the 2023 general election, but in which the process will be peaceful and secure, and the outcome truly reflective of the free will of the citizens.
While commending the Inspector General of Police for his commitment towards achieving an efficient police force, the president urged him not to relent in the provision of requisite police security that will not only engender a stable security space ahead of the elections, but also guarantee the credibility of the exercise.
I call on the Inspector General of Police and indeed all law enforcement agencies that will be complementing the police in the election security process to note that the eyes of the nation and the global community will be on you all. I have no doubt of the high level of preparedness of the Nigeria police for the exercise. I trust also that in line with your service oaths and statutory obligation to our beloved country, you will not disappoint us all as you put to effect your election security governance operational plans.
The president used the opportunity to confirm his approval for the release of funds for the continuation of the annual recruitment of 10,000 constables of the Nigeria Police. Police Affairs Minister Muhammad Maigari Dingyadi said more assorted anti-riot equipment acquired from China will soon be delivered and deployed by the Nigeria Police towards facilitating free, fair, and peaceful elections beginning this month.
I assure Your Excellency the resolve of the ministry under my watch to continue to support and encourage the police towards attaining the lofty democratic and internal security vision of Mr. President. Let me also assure that the ministry will continue to encourage the Inspector General of Police in his re-engineering plan for the force. We shall also encourage the police to put to proper use the acquired assets for the good of citizens and our dear nation.
I renew my assurances to Mr. President and the nation that in line with Your Excellency's charge, the Nigeria Police will be apolitical and impartial and shall deliver on our election security mandates within the context of democratic values and best practices. We have, in furtherance to this, in place adequate machineries that will, in most proactive manner, identify, isolate, and bring to book any political actor that plans to disrupt the political process.
The Police High Command also expressed confidence in the ability of the force to effectively police the election in the most coordinated, civil, and rule of law compliant standard ever witnessed in the country. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The federal government says it is impressed with the activities of security agencies in their continuous efforts to keep the nation safe. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed said this at 25th edition of the ongoing PMB Scorecard 2015 to 2023 series, which featured the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi. Anthony Forsen reports.
Let me use this occasion to commend our security agencies for their sacrifices to keep us safe.
Describing as unfortunate the rate at which foreign embassies are quick to issue travel advisories warning their citizens about security threats in Nigeria is alarming, citing the last one by the US and the United Kingdom.
Recall, ladies and gentlemen, that in October 2022, the United States and United Kingdom embassies in Nigeria issued travel advisories warning their citizens to avoid Abuja due to the risk of a terrorist attack. This advisory created much panic in the country. As a matter of fact, a number of Americans were reported to have fled Abuja in the wake of the warning.
The federal government, he said, in response to that, rose to the occasion and assured the citizens and non-citizens that there was no need to panic.
In our reaction to the advisory, we reassured Nigerians and non-Nigerians living in the country of their safety and noted that our security agencies are on top of the matter. Almost 3 months after the frivolous advisory, residents of Abuja have been going about their businesses without any threat.
Government, he maintained, has a lot of confidence in its security architecture.
It is in this light that we want to once again commend our gallant troops, the police, the intelligence agencies, and all other security agencies for their commitment and sacrifice to keep our country safe.
In Abuja, Anthony Forsen, NTA News.
Professor Jage's Committee on Livestock Reform and Mitigation of Conflicts has advised present and incoming administrations to show more commitment to addressing farmers' herders' crisis in the country. This is coming as the Sultan of Sokoto raised concerns over abuses of transhuman treaty and movements of arms in West Africa. This was the high point at a national conference organized by Kano State Government in Abuja. Musa Babaliu reports.
Land and access to water has always been the center of conflicts between farmers and pastoralists. The conflict that is often neglected and seen as a local issue has gradually degenerated, thereby threatening national security.
People coming from West Africa because of climate change, coming into northern part of this country with hundreds of cattle, with thousands of cattle, to the middle belt, to the southern part of this country, creating problems.
Efforts to find lasting solutions to these conflicts brought about the national conference.
How can the traditional livestock production and development sector be suitably reformed with remarkable and sustainable value addition to Nigeria's economic growth and enhanced peaceful coexistence amongst diverse Nigerian communities?
The conference reviewed the contributing factors associated with the conflict and advised government on the way out.
The way forward, we all agree ranching, we agree that it's very important in enhancing the progress of the sector. We have to go back to the basics.
There is a suggestion from the Nigerian Governors Forum that traditional rulers should be engaged in mediation and conflict resolution.
Production is done.
We have been doing it. I have been to Benue Makodi at least 3 times as Sultan to sit with the governors and the traditional leaders to discuss about peace in the Benue Valley. At the end of it, when we have come with suggestions, we throw them away. Nothing is done. Back to square one. Let this conference not be in the same manner. Whatever we have agreed we should do, please, let's do it, and let's do it well.
There is also a call on the federal government to engage ECOWAS on the abuse of transhumance treaty, especially the smuggling and movement of arms by some pastoralists. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arraigned 4 persons before a Federal High Court Abuja for allegedly siphoning 3 billion naira from the treasury of the Kogi state government. Olabode Arewa reports that an 18-count charge was preferred against them.
The defendants, Ali Bello, Abba Adauda, Yakubu Siaka, and Iyada Sadat, are facing 18-count charge of alleged criminal misappropriation of funds, totally 3.08 billion naira, in violation of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act of 2011 as amended. The prosecution counsel accused them of using a certain company, E-Traders International, to transfer the monies from the Kogi State Government Treasury between 2020 and 2021. The 4 defendants pleaded not guilty when the charges were read to them, while their defense counsel, Ahmed Raji SAN, filed an application for their bail. At Monday's proceedings, the prosecution counsel, Kabir Hussein, pleaded for additional time to file a counter-affidavit to the bail application, to which the court adjourned to Tuesday.
Is opposing our application for bail. They did not file their counter-affidavit on time, and they served us only around 3:45 on Friday. Because of that, the counter-affidavit cannot get into the file of His Lordship.
The 4 defendants are also facing trial in a related case concerning the alleged diversion of 10.2 billion naira from the Kogi State government coffers. A 5th defendant in the case, Abdulsalami Udu, is still at large. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Traditional leaders in South-South have expressed commitment to work with the federal government to end insecurity and pipeline vandalism in the Niger Delta. The commitment was given at a meeting between the traditional rulers and the interim administrator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Major General Buhari in Warri, Delta State. Onyenye Joshua Ifeanyi reports.
Niger Delta region, once a flashpoint, is now peaceful, and to sustain this momentum, made the federal government to give the area a special attention. Seated here are traditional rulers and the Presidential Amnesty Office, brainstorming on how to keep the region completely free from all forms of vices, especially crude oil bunkering. Coordinator, Presidential Amnesty Program, Major General Buhari convened this meeting to update the royal fathers on measures taken so far to upscale the development indices of the region.
By May, when we have completely set up the cooperative and it has taken off, we are also working towards establishing an education trust fund. We intend to finance it with about £1 billion naira, and then, since the PAP is still in existence, we'll keep putting in money and see how far we can go even before the end of May. But I want to assure you that by the time the intervention funds I have applied for come in, we may end up having not less than 5 billion naira in the Education Trust Fund.
Pleased with the sincere commitment of the federal government, the traditional leaders promised to promote peace in their domains.
In the Niger Delta, this syndrome of pull-down system is something that is not doing us good.
For the past 3 months that he have been in the office,
the man has changed a lot of things.
From all comments, we have agreed that all these laudable ideas that he has shared with us, we should support him to fulfill them.
The stakeholders' engagement is an ongoing exercise in the region. Onyinye, Joshua Ifeanyi, NTA News.
You're watching the news reaching you from NTA International. We'll take a short break. The news continues in a moment.
The INEC Voter Enrollment Device, IVEC, has been introduced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to aid the Commission in compiling the voter register through the Continuous Voter Registration, CVR. It also ensures that data collected from every citizen are kept safe for referencing in the event of a missing or damaged permanent voter's card, PVC. Remember that only registered voters who collect their PVCs can vote during elections. To get yourself registered, you can visit any of the INEC accredited registration centers nationwide or start the registration process online by visiting www.cvr.inecnigeria.org, filling the necessary forms and booking an appointment to visit an INEC office close to you to complete the registration process using the IVEC. As a citizen of Nigeria, to ensure that you can vote during elections, it is imperative that you get your permanent voter's card, PVC. The IVEC is used to capture data of eligible citizens such as basic information, fingerprints, and facial images, which will be used to identify the voter on election day. After successful enrollment, a slip is issued for use to collect the permanent voter's card, PVC, when it is ready. The IVEC is a reliable device used for continuous voter registration, CVR. If you recently attained 18 years of age or you are above 18 but have not registered before, watch out for the resumption of the continuous voter registration and get registered to vote using IVEC. Remember that registering with IVEC and collecting your PVC guarantee that you can vote. IVEC is a system that can be trusted and will ensure that every vote counts. As a patriotic Nigerian, I have registered and I have my PVC ready to vote. This message is supported by the European Union's support to democratic governance in Nigeria, EU-SDGN.
Thanks for being there. Turkey and Syria quick rescue phase coming to a close, says UN aid chief, just as Gabon announces shorter political terms. This and more with Uche Ugochukwu on Global Update segment of the news.
The United Nations says the rescue phase of its operations in Turkey and Syria is coming to a close, with the focus switching to caring for survivors. However, some people are still being pulled alive from the rubble a week after the quake, with more than 35,000 people confirmed dead so far. Meanwhile, officials in Turkey say 113 arrest warrants have been issued in connection with the construction of buildings that collapsed in Monday's quake. Auckland Emergency Management Office has warned residents in the city and the surrounding area to brace for more heavy rain, flooding and gale force winds. Some homes are being evacuated as Cyclone Gabrielle nears the country's coast. Gabrielle is forecast to move from the north close to the east coast within hours. Deputy Controller Rachel Kaleha says the impacts of Cyclone Gabrielle is expected to get worse before it gets better.
Today I'm announcing a package of support for community social services in Auckland and other affected regions in the Upper North Island to help ease some of that pressure.
In other news, Gabon President Ali Bongo has announced that all political tenures in the country will now last 5 years. Until now, presidents officially served 7-year terms and senators served 6-year terms. And Chad begins trying 150 rebels accused of causing the death of President Idris Deby. The suspects belong to the Front for Concord and Change in Chad, the rebel movement which launched an offensive to overthrow Chad's government from its rare bases in Libya in 2021. They are being charged with terrorism, enlisting child soldiers, mercenarism, undermining state security and assassination of a sitting president. That's the Global Update. I am Uche Ugochukwu.
More opportunities for professional training and experience is in the offing for young engineers. This follows a proposed partnership between the Nigerian Society of Engineers and the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC). Kevin Obenwai reports that this was part of the deliberations at the induction of new corporate members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers Abuja branch.
When finalized, the collaboration will see graduate engineers posted only to engineering departments of agencies and engineering firms. The move is aimed at enhancing their professional experience and boost their chances of faster registration into the Nigerian Society of Engineers and COREN.
For you to become a corporate member of you must have, after graduation, work for 4 years. And these 4 years includes NYSC. You should have at least 4 years of engineering experience under a registered engineer. So we don't want them to lose any of these years, and that's why we are discussing with NYSC and also engaging other relevant authorities to ensure that they provide the opportunities for these young engineers to practice.
For these new inductees into the corporate membership of the Abuja branch of the NCE, COREN is promising mentorship programs to develop their skills because the implications of lack of skillful professionals to oil the wheel of infrastructural growth in the country is enormous.
The whole idea is to ensure that engineering is practiced in accordance with relevant codes and standards, and also in line with international best practices.
The new members were inducted with a charge on them to be diligent and resourceful because the field of engineering and technology is ever dynamic. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
Now to electoral matters towards achieving a safe, secure and ideal environment for the conduct of credible polls, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has reiterated the commitment of the force in dealing with miscreants who may want to cause trouble during the conduct of the general elections. Francis Farm reports that the directive was given at a strategic managers meeting at the force headquarters in Abuja.
This first conference of strategic managers of the force for year 2023 is to review the internal security of the country and reassess strategies towards the 2023 general elections.
You are to preclude the activities of quasi-security agents in all political activities who may be employed by politicians from participating in the electoral process. Likewise, ensure that you closely monitor the illicit activities of Civilian Jet Task Force, National Union of Road Transport Workers, Amotekun, Ebubagu, and Hunters Association and other state-owned security outfits with a view to checkmating their activities within your jurisdiction.
The Inspector General of Police tasked the strategic police managers to safeguard the public space for the conduct of the general elections in synergy with other security agencies.
In respect of the incessant attacks on INEC facilities and other key and vulnerable government assets, you are hereby warned to ensure the emplacement of firm actions that will deter attacks on INEC facilities, assets across your AORs, especially as this crucial season.
The IGP also warned officers and men to remain neutral in ensuring free, fair, and credible elections. Francis from NTA News.
APC Presidential Candidate Bola Tinubu says the Kolmani oil discovery awaiting exploration may just be a tip of the iceberg to more discoveries in northern parts of the country. These God-given riches, he says, he will maximize for the benefit of the nation if he becomes president of Nigeria. Tinubu made the pledge at the party's presidential governorship campaign rally in Gombe State. Muspa Danwaha reports.
Komani has given you the resources and a pledge to commence effective drilling and development of the petroleum located in Komani and other places.
Aswaju is a tested and trusted leader. We have every confidence
that he has all it takes to deliver Nigeria and take Nigeria out of the present situation and take it to the next level. Knowing and seeing what he did at Lagos when he was governor, and with antecedents and his ability to manage the political environment properly, he will deliver, and he will deliver very well. That is our prayer. Thank you.
The Action Democratic Party presidential candidate, Yabagi Yusuf Sani, has promised to rebuild Abia State as one of Nigeria's industrialized states if elected president in the coming elections. The presidential candidate of the Action Democratic Party, his running mate and members of the campaign council, while in Abia State, assured the people of the wealth of experience that will come to play in the oil and financial sectors if they vote ADP. Yabagi Yusuf said he will provide a government where the 3 tiers of government will be independent and everyone treated equally, not minding backgrounds and religion. He believes the Action Democratic Party is a credible alternative that is on a rescue mission. In the face of litigations over pre-election matters across political divide, Labour Party is looking beyond the courtroom to guide voters on their rights on election day. The legal department of the party has begun an awareness campaign on Electoral Act to guide the public on activities that constitute malpractice. David Ire reports.
Many voters on election days have one issue in mind: to cast their ballot for the candidate of their choice, with little or no knowledge of the process and procedures in achieving that goal. In order not to breach the rule of the game, this sensitization on the Electoral Act 2022 as amended has become a working tool for eligible voters with the aim of setting standard for them.
Help the people to know about the rivers, about their rights. Over 65% of the Nigerian voters are youth. And youth have come into education. It's unlike our fathers' days or forefathers' days where most of them were illiterate.
Those who are armed with the knowledge of the law have, however, argued that failure of relevant authorities to successfully prosecute electoral offenders have indirectly given courage to more people to violate the rules.
If anybody bribes, if anybody receives bribes, if anybody tries to disrupt the electoral process, there is punishment.
The sensitization is expected to hold in other geopolitical zones before the elections. In Abuja, David Ire, NTA News.
This is where we end the news. Before we go, remember to connect with NTA in the campaign against rape and rapists. Thanks for watching. I am Olajide Bello.